Hello and welcome to episode 4 of season 4 of the Voiro podcast. With me, as always, Kavita Shenoy.
Hello.
Voiro. Hello, Kavita.
And with us, we have two special guests.
Extra special guests.
Extra special. And let's put off all our notifications on our laptops, please, so that you don't capture them. We have Abash.
mine?
Yes, it was yours. Abash, who leads our sales at Voiro, and we have Jithin, who's founder and CTO at Voiro. Both who have come back from CABSAT in Dubai, bursting with energy and stories. How was it? What was it?
How was it? DXB, guys?
Oh, Dubai is fun. Dubai is fun.
Jimmy, you didn't like it.
You didn't like it?
Why didn't you like it?
What? I liked it.
This is the first time hearing of this.
No,
Listen, I heard that you guys are super excited when you stepped off the plane and booked your first Uber. What's the story there?
Yeah, I think thanks to Jimmy for that. He sat on a Tesla.
got off the flight and we were like, okay, we need to reach the hotel. So just booked the cheapest Uber option available. And what shows up? A Tesla Model 3.
It's so
And
good.
this is I've never seen a Tesla in my life. This is first real time
Experience in real life.
in real life experience. And I had Abash giggling away. He's like, ooh.
So I'm not a very touristy guy, right? Like anywhere if I go and all, I just like play it cool. Like I'm a cool guy and all that nonsense.
But inside,
But
are you
yeah.
excited? Are you excited on the inside?
Little bit.
Okay.
I mean, but when I sat on a Tesla, it's like a dream, right? Like you watch all these review videos of MKBHD and all of them, and they're reviewing all these electric vehicles. And Jimmy's like, I booked a Tesla. And we're there holding all these bags, and I'm like, okay. And it's there. I'm taking a video, going up to it, sitting inside. Just amazing. It was so good.
So-
What an intro.
So I really liked where we were staying was amazing. We were in the financial center and there were these huge tall buildings and everything's great. My only gripe, we're talking about Dubai, right? I think we can cover Dubai in a few days and you'll run out of stuff
To do. I think that's true of Singapore as well, right? Because they are small cities that are technically built to almost like the Truman Show. They're like beautifully built cities which are end to end. and you
Pixel
can-
perfect city.
Yeah, pixel perfect.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I met
Speaking-
someone, I
ahead.
met someone just like off the bat at the CABSAT first event also, and he's like, today you see one Blake and Sword, you'll see one 10 to 150 story building right there tomorrow. Oh, you see this building? It won't be that. I'm like, dude, the city is just fast. Too fast.
Now, we've heard about that before. But no, you guys
You've
came
been?
back.
Have you been to Dubai?
I have only spent one night in Dubai. I was connecting and my connecting flight was late. In Dubai, of course, the tourism, the tourist revenue systems just work. There was a guy who showed up and he said, I can get you a visa on arrival. And then he got me a visa on arrival and I stepped out of the airport. And another guy who showed up and said, how many hours are you in Dubai for? I said, I'm here for 10 hours. He said, I'll give you a 6-hour tour.
Wow.
No.
it good?
And it was good because I was there by myself. And so I just loitered around Dubai for one night. And he showed me the sights. So have I seen Dubai? No. And I've been to Dubai. Yes.
Yeah, I've only been to the transit where I've left my phone.
Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah.
I remember that. I thought she had abandoned me
Yeah. I
because
just left my bag and my steaming hot cup of tea, and I ran out of the check-in area because I left my phone in the bathroom. And then I had to go to Lost and Found because the lady in the loo had taken my phone down to Lost and Found, which was near arrivals and near the conveyor
before
belt.
this, I went to the restroom and Kavita said, I'll watch the bags. And then I finished, I came back, the bags are there, but no Kavita. And now suddenly in my head, I'm thinking unattended baggage. Unattended baggage.
And he's
Okay.
looking at the cameras, trying
And I'm
to
looking
figure out.
around, there's a cup of tea that's been abandoned, there's unattended baggage. So I'm just like, where is Kavita? I called her, no response.
Because my phone wasn't with me. And
Yeah.
I realized it when I sat down to mind the bags. And what do? You take out your phone,
Yeah.
right? And then I was like, oh, my phone's not there. Where's my phone? And I was like, oh my God, I left it in the loo. And I ran up and, well, anyway, I got the phone back. We caught the flight. I did not abandon Anand. And speaking of habits and, stuff that we do, you went and attended another event. You went to AdTech previously this year and you guys attended CABSAT this year.
What is
CABSAT?
Jimmy, you want to take this? Cable and satellite one.
Yeah, so CABSAT is basically a conference for cable and broadcast technologies to showcase the what are the technologies. So it's a very production heavy event. So they'll have all the equipment, gimbals and fantastic looking sets and those kinds of things. Broadcast technologies also. There are a lot of the
Video
tech you need capturing for actually sending out the signals, signal processing. So many things are there. So a lot of cool stuff, which I don't think I fully understood any of those parts. But there was some interesting, in between those stalls, there were a few OTT tech stalls also. So what's happening right now in the MENA region is OTTs are coming up, right? And there's strong competition also between OTTs. So there is Arabic content which is very much in demand in that place. So everybody's trying to gather all this content and quickly bring up OTT platforms to serve all this out. So there's tech out there where you have end-to-end OTT platforms. You can, if you have content, you can go up and running immediately.
Like a white label OTT.
Exactly.
Yeah, it seemed to be like a theme, right?
It is.
We went over 10 stalls probably, and all of them were like, we can set up an OTT just like that.
That's
Yeah.
a clear indication of the market itself, right? Everybody wants to get up and running quickly. So there are all these tech vendors saying, hey, I'm there for you. You can get up and running immediately.
Yeah. Conversely, there's also a lot of vendors who actually create and hold and own content rights. So if you already have the OTT platform as a framework, you can go to this other company and say, hey, I want to syndicate all this content from you and subscribe to this content, put it on, and I will drive audiences to this platform, and I'll make money out of subscriptions or advertising. So it's funny that the world has come to this, because back in 2014, 2013, when we were starting Voiro at that point in time, the only people who actually could do this were people who owned content.
Right.
Yes.
And those people were going to tech vendors and making them build all of this ground up. And today it's become like this Lego jigsaw puzzle kind of thing where you can just put it together and you're done.
So I think for me, if you ask me, I've attended CABSAT, I've attended AdTech, all of these guys. When you sit in CABSAT, and because it's a different country, a different region, and you're there, and you realize that, hey, listen, these guys are about 5 years behind where India was. And to your point, Kavita, you could see that where the players over here in India had to depend on vendors to build it on from ground, they're all trying to figure out. Here's a region that's just sitting there and it has everything is just laid out.
So Dubai, right?
So Dubai. Everything's just laid out. These vendors can take them live really quick.
And so even though you say they're a little behind India, but they know where to head towards.
Correct.
So they're like, hey, I know what exactly I need to do.
They're not fumbling.
Yeah, not at all.
Which is because it's a region where that accelerated growth, like Dubai is always known for that accelerated growth in any sector of the business. And you could just see on the content side, they are they've learned from every other place. And it's just like, hey, I'm probably in a year from now, I'm going to think about content strategies, which probably took other regions 4 or 5 years to come to that place to take those decisions. But I'm going to be doing that in a year. And to me, that was just like, whoa, so you're going to get into advertising, I feel, within a year, because
all hybrid.
And they'll ramp up much faster.
Much faster.
Yeah.
And they'll have cooler ad formats. They won't have that kind of tech debt.
Yeah.
Right? And they'll have people who have already been through the entire curve, so the learning curve is not going to be that hard.
Which is also the popular CTV narrative, right?
Yeah.
That it will not repeat the same mistakes that digital made and leapfrog.
Yeah.
I remember when Kavita and I attended IBC in Amsterdam last year, it was very similar. It was very heavily focused on the broadcast supply chain. We spent most of our time in a floor called Content Everywhere. But the other end of IBC had all this cool hardware stuff.
Yeah.
And I remember at one point, Kavita was like, okay, let's take a break, let's go over there. And there was lighting equipment, there was sound equipment, there were cameras, and there was a small concert, and we were the only ones who were there.
Yeah, who were you're not really excited about it, but you had these serious studio executives over there making notes of all the specs, and there was a live band where the camera followed them on a rail automatically while they moved, and the lights kind of sort of shone on them in the right way. So it was reminiscent of a poor man's late night show with whichever star that you want to take right now. But it was so fascinating, and it brings out that innate starry-eyedness in you, right? You're like, oh my God, this is so cool. And that's the whole point of these events, CABSAT, IBC, NAB. The different floors actually, sort of give you the feel of the kind of work that goes behind bringing you that small show that you watch every day. And it's quite glamorous, I feel.
Aside, speaking of hardware, what did you guys think of Apple's VisionPro announcement? I saw everybody's laptops in the office this morning with the same content on it. What do you think? Would you buy it? $3,500?
2.88 lakhs.
at today's exchange rate.
At today's exchange, we don't know what's
It
going to
launches
happen.
early next year, so.
Yeah, we don't know what's going to happen by that time.
Yeah.
Maybe it'll be like,
Well, what are your first reactions?
I like it. I love it. I want it.
You want it?
I want it. I want it because I've always been saying this. I want that whole Tom Cruise, Minority Report, Tony Stark thing where you're pushing and pulling things out of thin air and you're looking at things that are far more augmented in reality and you're able to open stuff up instead of being boxed into your screen. I get it. I get that, you can walk it down to saying that this is going to take over society in a negative way. But look, it's at 2.88 lakhs. So the kind of society is going to take over is a small percentage, especially in India. So I'm not that worried. What about you?
See, AR is much better than VR any day. I've always believed AR is the way to go. Even the pricing right now it's the first product in the market. Well, there are other AR headsets and all, but at least this is a proper full-fledged consumer product. So it's going to be pricey, but I think price will come down. You'll see other players come in also, and it'll be fine. I'm waiting for an Android version.
Me too.
Or a non-Apple version.
I also want an Android
I
version.
think the entire CABSAT trip in Dubai, Jimmy and I just I shat on Android and he kept shitting on iOS. And I think I won. The battery outlasted.
Well
To
done.
Google on my Android phone to fix the problems on your iPhone.
Yeah. But for me, Kavita, if I look at Apple, that for me it's
VisionPro.
VisionPro. If it was in a different application of use, I think if it was gaming or something, that's what it
it will be there.
It will be.
The entire video, if you watch it, you have an immersive experience in gaming. You have like courtside seats to watch your favorite game. Education will be fantastic because experimentation and kids being able to sort of experience certain things that need experiential ways of teaching is something that can be seen. Yeah. It's great. I liked it. What about you?
I loved it.
Imagine
I
last
think
my
bet is that of all, like HoloLens, Google Glass, of all the AR headsets that have so far teased us, this is the first ones that I think the people in this room will get their hands on.
Yeah.
Apple's already announced it. It's going to launch. Either we will buy it or somebody we know will have it and we will pay them a visit.
No, also somebody may gift it to us.
Somebody may gift it to us, please.
Yeah. If
What
people
is
are listening,
friends?
we have to make such friends. Yeah,
We
come
have to
on.
make, there's enough time to make such
2.88
friends.
is not that expensive. If you look at it in the larger scheme of things, of people buying sneakers that are like $130,000.
I'm going to wait for the knockoffs. So there are other brands that are also
Are you
equally
saying
as
Android's
good.
going to be knockoffs? Is that in the same syntax?
Hey, no, if something has been built and ideated by a company and someone
Samsung
else
is going to
pulling
build
the same
something
thing, it's
greater
not
than this.
Samsung
I'm
will.
100%,
Samsung,
I'm
of course.
100% sure.
Samsung could because they
Yeah.
have that capability.
Correct. It'll
They
be
will,
psycho.
and then they will have all the features that we expect from Apple and didn't get. And then Jimmy's going to say, ha ha, all that's going to happen.
Yeah.
But I loved the fact that they said one more thing and they launched it. I think the form factor looks really nice. I didn't expect
interesting.
it to be this sexy. It is.
Would you expect the third edition of the IPL with Geo to be on a glass like this?
It'll be interesting.
Absolutely. I would expect that. And we talked about this in the podcast episode where we broke down IPL rights. I would also expect rights to be sold separately for AR or the metaverse.
Yeah, because if I already have multi-camera, right? I already have the ability to have a 360-degree view. All I need to do is, I know I'm being very reductive over here, but all I need to do is figure out how do I make this a 360-degree experience.
Now, as a wearable, I don't expect it to be something that people wear. I don't think the four of us are going to walk around 24/7 with, which is what the Google Glass was supposed to be. And people said that was bulky.
I was just saying this before the meeting. I'm still getting used to people looking at their watches and checking notifications. I'm like, are you late for something?
In meetings, I do this, and Kavita's like, "What are you doing?" I said, "No."
I'm just checking my messages because I'm okay with people checking their phones, but I've gotten used to that. But this whole watch checking is still not, I haven't gotten around to it at all. Maybe just my age. Yeah, but then, one of the things that also struck me really, really hard is that this Apple Vision Pro, it's, they start off the entire, the developer conference video with dream it, chase it, code it, right? It's really going to put a spin on what our children do for a livelihood, for their livelihoods in the future. And maybe live and doing things in person will have a greater premium. But the ability to imagine things and have like what they are calling spatial engineering and being able to give people immersive experiences requires a lot of tech and coding. And they talk about the experiences of having 4K in every pixel given to you because it's so close to your eye. And I was asking you this before we started recording the podcast. How many servers are we burning down to be able to serve one experience on the Apple Vision Pro, right? And that's a question that everybody's asking now. Sustainable advertising, but it'll be sustainable content distribution at some point in time. I mean, how many Akamai servers are you going to be able to bring up to support this?
It is currently the private jet of wearables, even at this price point. Like I remember when the first iPhone came out, everyone, including Steve Ballmer, laughed at the price point, and everyone's laughing at this price point as well. It's going to be for hobbyists, but I think we will get our hands on it, and I think the first time we will see it will be on a flight. Somebody next to us is going to be like that, and we want to.
I mean, are you going to be flying first class? Is that the question? Because I only fly. I mean,
You only fly first class. No. A lot of Indian airlines don't have business class, so I think that's the excuse I'm going to use. No, but I'm excited. Back to CABSAT. If I could ask you guys, did you meet any interesting people while you were there? Whom did you meet? What conversations do you recollect?
I think to begin with, we met Yann. So this is a man who has, his company is a streaming lab. He has a Substack and everything. He posts content on the entire streaming world of it. And this man knows the in and out of the entire MENA region and us in Voiro just entering that market space. He was like, I think we started off on a great foot because we were talking to someone who is far ahead and far more matured in that space and knows so much more. And hopefully we made friends with him. So it's pretty good. We've given a demo of a product and all that. And it's going really well. But he was a guy who just in and out, he knew exactly who are the players, what are they doing, where is fast moving. He took a few of the panels there as well. And yeah, it was quite fascinating to see people who are there just know in and out and they're able to predict what's going to happen. So when you're speaking to these experts, that's when you're like, oh shit, you got to come back again. So it's that same experience that I got in AdTech, like, oh dude, am I far behind on my knowledge and everything? But then you meet people like this and you're like, oh shit, this is really good. And
every conference I've attended, it's the same curve. Day one, you're like, I don't know anything. Everybody here is an expert. I'm living under the rock. By day 2 or 3, you're like, oh, I got this. I'm okay.
Yeah, it's overwhelming. It's overwhelming to attend a conference and to really put yourself out there. And everybody's a bit awkward on day 1 or they're overwhelming on day 1. You're like, oh my God,
They're
this
awkward
person.
in both directions.
Yeah, they're awkward in both directions.
I would say not, because if you were there with me and you would have seen Jimmy was just stall to stall to stall to stall. He was just speaking with everybody, and I'm sure he's met like really interesting companies too.
Did you?
Yeah.
What were your biggest takeaways?
Considering you were the man about town in CABSAT, according to Abash.
From the stalls, like I said, one was the end-to-end OTT solution. Met a bunch of interesting companies doing this, right? And they were approaching it different. One was like, hey, you're just ready to go. One was like focusing on, hey, we also have monetization as part of this. And they're still working on that aspect. But they are saying that it's important. You can't just talk about only content delivery. You have to figure out monetization as well. Then there are other folks who are also talking about optimization of actual delivery. In your CDN delivery itself, optimizing delivery, which is the closest node, and figuring out to give the best experience for the user. The lowest latency, lowest jitter, and make sure that is smooth. So these, from a tech aspect, these are the two main things that came out of MENA over there.
Nice. Go ahead.
So if you look at like, yes, MENA region is growing, it's great and things like that, but they're also facing issues, obviously. And what caught Jimmy and I on guard was like, hey, listen, OTT fatigue is just crazy. Like people are like not willing to subscribe anymore and it's not working. And then we are coming from a place where in India, people barely pay for anything. Like we are on a very freemium-ish or even free state. And then you go there and everyone is in a paid subscription mode. And for someone like Voiro, and as soon as subscription fatigue leads to free and then ads, because it doesn't make sense to do something like that. So for us, it just caught us a hook there, because if that MENA region is having a subscription fatigue and you have so many multiple players and with fast in the mix of it and the OTT guys trying to get into the fast space, to be in that space and to understand these problems, and then it was just like, it's real. And that's the same problem that India back home over here that we're facing.
There were two very good panels along these lines. One was, will fast work in MENA, and the streaming was. Basically the same theme, saying that there are already so many OTT players over here, and obviously this tech is coming to enable more OTT players also. So now you're going to lead to subscription fatigue. And so that's why people are now talking about fast, different about AVOD itself.
Hybrid models.
Yeah, and even consolidation. They want to work with telcos just to package it as part of it, so that people don't view it as different subscriptions, just one consolidated package. So yeah, there's going to be a fight and a consolidation going to happen over there soon.
No, I love, every time I think about MENA as a region, I'm very inspired by the fact that it reflects India in many ways. Many languages, a love for content from the West, as well as your own regional content, as well as neighboring regional content. I don't speak Malayalam, but I love movies that come out of Kerala on the OTT platforms that I subscribe to, right? Or even Korean movies. There are languages that we don't understand, but all of us have a love for foreign film of a certain kind. So what I loved hearing from you guys is how that market is very different from us, yet so similar. But subscription fatigue is something that has to be solved for, much like the rest of the world. We've always talked about how our industry is creative, distribution, and monetization. But there is a lot of creativity now spilling into the monetization side of this business, because business models have to evolve or they'll crumble, right? I was very intrigued to see or hear, I haven't yet watched the video, to hear that Bob Iger was on stage with Tim Cook, right? What's going on between Disney and Apple? Like, I want to know. I mean,
they've always had this long-standing relationship
with Pixar and Steve Jobs.
With Pixar and Steve Jobs. But, all the publications that I read, they all remarked on the fact that not even once did Tim Cook say AI or metaverse.
Yeah.
Right?
That's a first. Like, thank
that's
God.
that. Yeah. And you would expect somebody to say that while they're talking about VR and the headset and everything else, but not even once were these two words actually uttered, right?
Yeah.
So it's interesting to see, because if you look at the whole VR space, the first takers are entertainment across gaming. And I'm assuming that anything that has been made for the 3D world, I will be able to see it within my VR set. I'm hoping, right? There could be some, like all the new films that are coming out today are in 3D. So if you look at it from an immersive experience perspective, I'm assuming that this VR set is going to pick it up. So it's an interesting space because what is Bob Iger doing? Is Apple going to buy Disney is the question.
That's what...
That's the rumor mill.
That question has been planted in the jury's mind.
I don't think so. I don't think they'll let that happen. Like, why would a tech company run a content company? Maybe they'll have a nice partnership.
But they are investing in Apple TV and the content over there.
Yeah.
They are sponsoring movies and shows.
Yeah. I watched an Apple movie recently and I've forgotten the name.
Yeah,
I just finished Ted
There was
Lasso.
Tetris.
I just finished Ted Lasso. Tetris was amazing.
Air. Oh my
is
God,
very
what
nice.
a great
So I'm saying,
movie.
look at your shoes.
Yeah, that's why.
Yeah.
Yes. I'm just so taken up by, I like anything biopic-y, right? Anything to do with real life incidents. And if you marry that with sport and you have a well-produced movie, you have
Anand's
a
Jam.
winner on your hands.
Apparently, Ben Affleck...
And of course, the duo of Ben Affleck and Matt Damon.
But apparently, Ben Affleck decided at some point that he doesn't need Michael Jordan's approval on the script, but he wanted it.
Oh, just one
And
serve.
he said, I need it. And so he found a way to
Get it.
get a meeting with Michael Jordan. And he said he went and he met him. And apparently, when they reviewed the script, Michael Jordan just talked about how important his mother was to him. And Ben Affleck said, I was legitimately scared to sit in front of Michael Jordan and have him read the script. And at the end of it, Ben Affleck said, who do you think we should cast as your mother? And Michael Jordan said, it should be Viola Davis. And Ben Affleck said, took me a second to realize that was not a suggestion. Yeah. But I love the movie. It was good. Apple TV Plus, for some reason, buffers funnily on my TV.
Was it Samsung?
Maybe.
Maybe they're not friends, man.
They're not friends.
They're not friends.
I checked. My internet connection's fine. Every other app is fine. I was watching Ted Lasso yesterday. I had to pause it and wait for it to buffer. It felt like 1995.
The problems that we have. Now we're introducing something closer to your eye. Can you imagine the level of frustration? Right? It's going to be crazy. People are going to take it out and throw it.
I think we should buy one.
For the office?
Just for research.
Research purposes.
Just for research.
I think so too.
Academic
We can pull in
research.
and buy.
You can pull in.
Pool in. I don't think we can pool in.
So is it a full import if I buy it in India? 2.80 and I have to pay like 100% tax on it?
God.
How do I get it into the country? Can I wear it and come in?
Yeah.
And say these are my ski
Or do what
goggles.
Jimmy and I did.
You guys go back to Dubai. Bring us on.
But can you without paying customs?
Just wear it and come like you like you don't know any better.
Yeah. Well, I think it's I'm looking forward to it because I want to have immersive experiences. Whenever I watch games on, from the Xbox, and they used to have that, what was that bar called on top of the Xbox where which had haptics on it?
Connect?
Connect.
Yeah.
Connect. The
Connect
Connect.
bar. Yeah.
That was great until,
Yeah.
I don't know, it just got sold from my house. They just took it away.
It was a lot of fun. I don't
It
know
was
why
great fun. It was
I
great
have
fun.
actually not heard of the Connect or the Wii in a while, but they
Yeah.
still exist as products.
They exist, and it was a big rage, and we used to have it in our house, and
Playing
the kids
tennis.
were small, and we've gone
Dance.
places, dance and played tennis and a whole bunch of stuff. But more so from trying to get away from daily life. Like I'd like to go on a trek right now. I could probably just wear my Apple Vision Pro and forest bathe, if
Yeah.
you please.
There was
Right?
tech like this at CABSAT.
Yeah.
Just
But
immerse.
but that kind of immersiveness requires space. And space is at premium, right? I'm not going to be able to convert my entire room with cameras to make me feel like I'm in a specific space.
we talked about watching live sports on this side, right? But what if you're at a live game and you want it with an AR headset? You can get statistics. You can see
Commentary.
the player name.
Every time I've been at a stadium, the
Yeah.
only thing I miss is commentary.
Do you think everybody in the UN, while sitting there, will have like goggles on their head because they don't have any more translators in their ears? Guys,
I mean, it's a work from home thing. Probably
gonna
they
look
won't
funny.
be sitting there.
why UN? For you to sit there, yeah? What do you mean? You have to sit in that
There
entire
are a lot
bowl.
of cool things you can do with the AR. A lot of cool things.
Yeah, but we're going to have professional jobs like friend, neighbor, family, because we're all just going to become this like inclusive, I, me, myself community that doesn't know
It's
how
like
to
a
socialize.
episode of Black Mirror.
100%.
100%. Look, it's going to go through the same evolution as all tech. It's going to be expensive, then it'll launch, then we'll see it, then we'll try it. Then Pornhub will figure out their strategy.
That is something that's going to already happen. That's
Already
already happened, but Apple can't speak about it right now. Because it's
There would have been some partnership agreement.
correct. So I was reading some trivia about the fact that after Apple launched their Play Store, it was only about a year later that apps actually started to get developed on it.
It used to be their own app still.
Yeah, up until then. And even now, their meditation app and all of that, is their own app at this point. And obviously, they support only their browser, which is Safari, and they have this interoperability between the Macs and the Vision Pro.
Yeah.
All very interesting, but it can only move forward once other stuff is available on it.
I don't know. I'm curious to know how it fits into society. Because like you said, the AirPods were weird. Now it's very normal.
Very acceptable, yeah.
But the other day, I was out for a walk with my wife. I put in my AirPods and she was like, "What are you doing?"
It's very rude.
It's very rude. Imagine if I did this. Oops.
Oh, great.
Imagine if I looked like this.
Yeah. No, but apparently that's not rude because I can see your eyes, according to...
But you don't know what I'm looking at.
So when I was reading the
It's
article
like wearing
on...
goggles.
I was reading the article on one of these trade publications and it said you can see the wearer's eyes. And I'm like, what? I got to see this video now. What do you mean you can see my eyes? Like, are they going to be like just like peepholes? What's happening? How can you see my eyes? But you can see your eyes where there's a veneer across it and it's not opaque. And so if another person comes into your vision, they are in your virtual reality or your augmented reality. Sorry, your augmenting reality. It's not virtual reality.
And it can detect their presence and
Yes.
then...
And then they kind of like bleed into your space. So you can be a parent.
So if you're watching a movie,
Mhm.
I can be in the movie. I can just like...
No, you can be a person who's also...
Imagine if
right-
that was possible. I could just show
That's
up.
so... And it kept saying, apps are in your space. I was like, oh my God, this is crowding me. I don't want apps in my space. I mean, they'll get their messaging right, but it's cool. It's great. It's innovation, but I'm still torn. In the future, I have a question. Are you going to live in a compound that, staves away tech and you're back to basics where you're able to build furniture with your hands and weave and grow crop?
I'm
Or are you going to
sure-
be on this side where you're going to be strapping this thing on your face?
I'm sure that there's going to be a type of vacation that we take where there are resorts or hotels that are like this.
Yeah.
You have to check your gadgets at the door
Yeah.
before you enter.
Conversely, there will be a lot more rides that you will have where you can strap this thing on your face, or because if you go to Universal Studios now, there are a lot of VR rides where the carriage will move, but the whole thing is an
We
experience.
did that Smash.
Oh yeah, I
We
miss
took our team
Smash.
out for it.
Right, I miss Smash.
Jimmy
They really got
paragliding.
smashed.
Jimmy paragliding with VR headset.
Yeah, with
an
that,
Oculus Rift.
with the big fan in your face to give you the feel of wind.
Yeah.
Yeah, we've done some weird stuff.
I think it should become some eye doctors. I think they'll become becoming
No, but the medical
expensive.
field also will definitely improve. Everything will be with a medium of technology between you and the end product, whether it is carpentry or operating on a person or thinking of creative concepts, recording or filming a movie, everything. And this, and also like you were saying, CABSAT is not about B2C. It's more about B2B and behind the scenes. From a B2C perspective, we are catching up, saying that we have a lot more to do with immersive experiences, and the tech behind the scenes also is increasing to be able to capture high-end video quality, to be able to do stuff that is far more immersive and stuff like that.
Even in the ad space itself, what if I was in my house, I'm looking for furniture? How will it look in my
Yeah.
sitting room? This sofa, how would it look?
And when you say ads, right, it's no longer this like 10%, 15% off. That's all relegated, I feel. Right? Obviously, this entire podcast is a personal
quite true.
opinion, but it'll be
Yeah.
like on a retail website,
Yeah.
bottom the funnel and all of that. But it'll be far more experiential, like showing me how my life will be with this particular brand or ad. Yeah.
That's going to be fun.
So who else did you meet at CABSAT?
So I think post which I think we met some folks from Emergent, some folks from
Our partners.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And a few from Endeavor Streaming. We met Viniit Mehta from there. Very interesting conversation. I
Very
think
insightful
yeah,
on the
very insightful.
region itself.
Yeah, so Viniit gave us so much information on how the market is, and I think he was the guy who brought light to that. Hey, in terms of ads, this space is like behind. They're not even focusing that as a problem statement, and that proved true when we met the likes of MBC and Careem and all these guys that we met there.
They're still in the process of collecting and getting their audience straight, right?
It's a priorities, right? They're focusing on fleshing out the product, getting the user base sorted. You have to get that sorted first,
Yeah.
and then focus on ads.
Figure out how to monetize it.
Yeah, yeah. But the great part is that they're entering in a place where the entire ad industry has become a lot more matured, a lot more systematic, to be said, because we've seen companies cram. Like they're just scrambling across what should we do, how do we make systems talk to each other and all that, and where they're entering a place where systems are already talking to each other. And it's easy for companies like even
Second
us.
mover advantage,
Yeah,
right?
second mover
Everything
advantage.
is-
Yeah, you're right.
everything is
That's
all
the
done,
right word.
yeah.
Yeah. And even for companies like us, it's very contextual. And the great part, I think I noticed that the experts from India are there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So they're right there, and what they've built and succeeded in India and learned from their mistakes, most importantly, are doing it well there.
Yeah, it's an exciting region. Every time anyone from our team goes for a conference, we love doing this debrief. You come back and tell us what you saw and reinforce the fact that we are part of an exciting industry, for sure. Last question on CABSAT. What did you guys eat? What did you guys eat?
Man,
So we had some amazing shawarmas.
I think
Just
we only ate
mind-blowing
shawarmas.
shawarmas.
Cliched.
Cliched.
But it is worth it. Definitely.
So
I used to
worth
look
it.
forward to
Do you remember when
that.
Jimmy went to Muscat and brought some shawarmas back for us?
Yes. Yeah.
All the way from
Huge
from
dabba
home.
full of them.
Yeah.
I wanted to bring it back. It was like so good. Because they
Shawarma.
don't use mayo, right? They use, what is that other thing called?
Yeah, I once said mayo and I got slapped.
Yeah, there's no mayo. There's
It's
that
not mayo.
garlic tulum or whatever. Anyway,
Tahini.
it's
right?
tahini?
Tahini?
Okay, I have no idea.
No.
Something my friend
I just know
said.
it's not mayo.
Yeah, but it's
not
healthy,
healthy.
right? It's like,
It's not healthy.
Not healthy.
Right?
Come on, it's not healthy.
dude, I gotta hit
I
my
don't know.
friend.
It is very tasty.
Because I was told it's healthy.
Yeah, well, I mean, you ate it. You
I'll still
enjoyed
eat it.
Yeah.
So if you eat more of it, you become healthier. That's
Dude, yeah, probably. Because I remember so I fortunately got to do other things while the event was going and all, and I came back at night, and the shawarma shops, and it's Dubai, it's all open late and all. What am I getting? I'm getting a shawarma. So it was just like, it was so good. We ate some really, really good food. And I remember in the midst of the entire CABSAT event, we are also tired. We were skipping lunch. We're having such irregular eating habits because we are all on our feet. And we go and see one stall at the trade center there, and Jimmy is like, "Hey, do you want to try this? Jimmy, do you want to do the honors of what it was?"
Just sambosas.
What is sambosa?
Samosa, but very tiny ones with lamb in it. It was amazing.
Yeah.
Like,
They're
this is
calling
how
it
someone-
sambosa?
Sambosas.
Oh.
In South Africa, it's called a samosa.
A samosa.
Yeah.
And we call it samosa here. Samosa.
The OG.
Is
And-
it?
I think we were very hungry also.
Yeah,
But it was
because Jimmy and I were talking a lot, and when the food came, it was just like
Silence.
just silence.
eating.
Silence. Eating
It
in
was good.
silence.
It was good. It was just, yeah, it was pretty good.
And then we went go-karting as well.
Oh yeah,
It was fun.
Did you win?
Good times.
Did you win?
I'm not gonna
no.
say anything.
I came in 9th. Abash,
Did you
Can you
get
speak
yourself
for
out of the
What,
tires?
were you better than 9th?
Were you better than 9 or worse?
Was
29th.
29.
Did you play
I have my
football? You went and
reasons.
played football
yeah, I
the day
did.
you
win it.
landed,
yeah,
right?
yeah, yeah. One of those days I did go play football.
We ran a 5K, 10K the other day as a team, and we finished, and Abash said, I got to go for football.
Yeah. I just want to
Anil
go.
carb loaded for that 5K.
Yes, I carved it after. I ate all the calories and some after I ran that 10K. At some point, that 10K, I went mad. I was talking to myself saying, just finish this, just finish this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I gave Kavita a fist bump on that.
Yeah.
Hey, I think it was good I went for football because there were some people from Talabat and other companies that were interested, and I was like, hey, I know you.
Yeah.
We'll come back again.
There you go.
Yeah. The various ways in which Abash gets us our sales, right? From playing football to,
Burning my lungs, yes.
yeah, burning your lungs down.
Alrighty. Thank you guys for all the stories, and we look forward to attending CABSAT again, speaking to Yann again, and taking Voiro to the next event.
Yeah. And if you guys are listening to this podcast and you haven't read the Streaming Lab newsletters yet, please do.
Link in
We're link in bio.
the show notes. In
or
the bio.
show notes. And we sponsored it this time, so at least you know what Voiro does, because we need to have a t-shirt out also. I mean, if people who understand Hindi, which says Voiro and at the back says, Karte kya ho yaar?
Dhanda kya?
Anyway, all right. Thank you everybody for listening.
We'll see you again next time.
Bye.